Hi everybody. Welcome to today's webinar in partnership with Tredence and DVT Labs. ETL is over. Faster, smarter pipelines with DVT. Couple things before we launch. First of all, it is Coalesce season. Coalesce is coming up in October. You can join us live in Las Vegas or live online or a hybrid experience if you prefer that. But scan this QR code to see the agenda. There is loads and loads of companies who have made the switch from traditional ETL. I have companies like USAA speaking about their migration effort, which actually took just 18 months to move from a system that had been in place for something like 15 or 20 years. So absolutely packed with great content, keynotes, networking, live labs, all sorts of things. So please do join us. A little bit of housekeeping. So use the Q&A tab for all your questions. Use the chat tab for banter, but do keep it respectful and inclusive. So there will be a recording sent out within 24 hours of the event. And at the end of this, we will share a little survey to help us improve. So look out for that. So the agenda for today, challenges with Legacy ETL. So Devang and I will tell you a little bit about sort of where people are coming from, what our experiences have been there. Devang is going to share with you the modernization playbook that they have and the architecture for a migration accelerator that you'll also get to see. And finally, a DBT migration case study. Okay, so that is our agenda for today. Our speakers are myself, Ernesto Ongaro. I'm a product marketing manager with DVT Labs. I've been here for 4 years. I've had a long career in analytics, including some legacy ETL tooling, worked for a consultancy that did talent work back in the days. Have worked for Looker and Google and Tibco and Jaspersoft and a few other kind of tools in the BI space in the last several years. So with me, I have Devang. So Devang, if you want to say a few things about yourself.
Thank you, Ernesto. Hello, everyone. My name is Devang Pandya. I am a Vice President of Growth Partnership at Tredence, joined Tredence 2.5 years ago, and currently responsible for leading the Global Snowflake Business Unit at Tredence. Overall, 27 plus years of experience in data and AI, that includes obviously data engineering, analytics, and delivered the projects across multiple industries over the past few years. I think thank you for joining today's session, and we look forward to having a meaningful interactive conversations with you all.
Awesome. So a little bit about the two companies here today. So Tredence will go first. Devang.
Yeah, so some of you might know about Tredence. We have been founded 12 years ago, and we are rapidly growing in last few years in data and AI space. We are only focused on data and AI, and that's it, nothing else. If you have to remember two takeaways from this slide, one is speed to value. So Tredence has heavily focused on delivering speed to value. Whenever founders have kind of established Tredence, their goal was how can we solve the last mile AI adoption challenges for our customers? As we see, many organizations are data rich, insights rich, but action poor. And our goal is how can we deliver those measurable business impact to our customers? And that's when the speed to value comes into a play. And the reason we are able to deliver speed to value is through our suite of AI, ML, and data engineering accelerators. We have developed 100 plus accelerators across different domains. And today we are going to talk about one of them, which is on the ETL modernization. The second takeaway is think of Tredence as a boutique at scale. So we are 3,500 people globally spread across 14 offices. And as you can see, we have delivered the projects across different verticals: retail, CPG, healthcare, life sciences, banking, financials, manufacturing, and others. In terms of the partnership, obviously we are partnered with all three hyperscalers as well as data providers, data platform providers such as Databricks and Snowflake. We have been also recognized by the likes of Gartner and ISG on around data engineering capabilities, data science, customer 360, as well as some of the other horizontal solutions, if you will. I'm not going to talk much about this. Tredence has been recognized by multiple recognitions through partners, analysts, and um, some of the development awards as well. Thanks for our customers in putting trust in Tredence in delivering the value over the last few years.
Brilliant. And a little bit about DBT. So we are the standard for data transformation. Our joke is that we started wanting to transform data, but we ended up transforming teams and transforming a whole industry. So we're a highly well adopted solution in the market. We have 60,000 companies. We're very proud are using DBT. We also have been recognized by some of the leading cloud data platforms like Snowflake and Databricks. And we have a huge community of members that share ideas and speak at our conferences and things like that. So with that, we will head over to talk about the challenges with Legacy ETL, and then you'll hear from Devang in just a moment. Okay, so this first section is around challenges that we've seen companies have time and time again. So just want to set the table here, a shift that we're seeing amongst our customers. And even if you're not building AI, you are definitely affected by it. AI has reset expectations around time to deliver. People, and especially executives, they expect insights in minutes and not days. They want to know that they can make decisions based off trusted business and operational data, and that self-service is readily available, and that asking questions only leads to deeper insights, not to data teams scrambling to rebuild. And so even if you're not doing AI today, you're under pressure to move faster than ever. And the old ETL paradigm, unfortunately, is set up in a way that is not collaborative enough to move this quickly. It leads to some struggles. So data engineers are generally just stuck fixing broken pipelines. Analysts are never quite sure where the metric is right because in the ETL paradigm, you have a data engineering doing all of the extraction, transforming, and loading, and the analyst is sort of left way out here on their own. Stakeholders eventually stop asking new questions, and your competitors are effectively getting ahead of you if they're doing this process faster. So time and time again in analytics, there's always been a trade-off between speed, trust, adoption, and cost. So there are ways that you can move fast, but that's going to be usually at the cost of trust. So you won't have the right governance in place. That's not usually the case with ETL tooling. ETL tooling is more like this. You may have high trust in the data, but the adoption and speed is very low because people are just, waiting for a small group of experts to finish building transformations. And so at the rate of business today, we just don't have that speed, and therefore the adoption lacks. People start to create their own extracts somewhere else and don't really, contribute to the insights of the whole company. And the final one is you may have adoption, but you'll also lack in trust or speed. There's always been trade-offs. And then, of course, especially with the move to the cloud, cloud costs are just terribly unpredictable from one month to the next. Inefficient pipelines, reworking of work, lack of visibility can all lead to very spiky costs. So you're probably thinking to yourself, we're the middle organization, or we've got speed, but we don't have trust. Curious if you just put it into the chat for a little interaction, where do you feel you're feeling the pain the most here? Okay, and with that, I will hand over to Devang, who's going to talk through a few more challenges that his customers are seeing.
As Ernesto mentioned, let me take a moment and try to consolidate some of these challenges into our various categories that we have seen in the legacy ETL stack, if you will. The first and foremost, the performance and scalability challenges. Many of the times you require a better and bigger hardware to process the large volume of transformation as well as the parallel jobs, in terms of your data loading and such, right? That obviously adds significant cost element to it. The second important challenge that I want to highlight is, the modern stack requires heavy collaboration, right? So some of these legacy ETL tools, obviously they have a version controlling capabilities and such, but you need fully modern version control stack integration such as, Git and Bitbucket and GitHub and things like that. The another important challenge that I wanted to highlight about is the data quality and data validation. In the legacy tool stack, you probably have to code these routines yourselves to perform the data quality checks and the data validation, which obviously hampers the productivity of the developers because you need to really do this for every single job. Maybe you can create the framework, but it all adds up in terms of the development effort, the testing effort, and the deployment effort, if you will, right? That's a significant challenge. And in today's world, you are building the CI/CD pipeline, and you need to make sure that your code is fully integrated in terms of the version control repository, but also able to do the automated validation and deployment process, if you will. So that's a significant challenge you typically face in the legacy tech stack, if you will. Last but not least, the higher TCO. As I was stating earlier, many of the times you need to procure the larger hardware or more expensive, processors to match the performance and scalability requirements, and obviously it adds up with more licensing cost and many other scenarios, right? And another observation is, generally when you are having the legacy stack, you are actually not doing the processing closer to the data, but rather you are doing the processing farther away where your data sits, and that sometimes adds a little bit more overhead and challenges and things like that. So those are some of the things that I wanted to highlight in terms of the challenges, and we'll go through how DBT kind of solves this, challenges. And obviously, as Ernesto mentioned earlier, DBT has been widely adopted solution by many of those organizations globally. Let me walk you through Tredence modernization playbook that we have deployed successfully across multiple large customers, and how our migration accelerators improves the faster time to value for our customers migrating from legacy stack into Snowflake and dbt. Here are the 7 steps that I wanted to walk you through. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this has been proven and successfully deployed across multiple customers. First thing first, you obviously start with defining your target state architecture. Let's say if you are doing this in Snowflake, maybe you are migrating your legacy data warehouse such as Oracle or SQL Server or any other into Snowflake, then obviously you need to first finalize your target state architecture. That's where we can bring the some of the accelerators from our side in terms of the architecture design patterns, tool comparisons, and things like that. Fast forward, you obviously need to establish the data quality, data catalog, and the entire data governance framework around your solution or the data platform, if you will. And then you start building upon in that data platform for data model and design. And obviously now you need to go into deploying those data model with data sets ingested through some of your tools that you are using right now. As far as the ETL modernization journey is concerned, we will start from step number 4. That's where you build your data pipeline design. You also build your automated development and deployment along with the data quality and data validation rules built in, right? So today I'm going to walk you through about how our ETL modernization accelerator can fast track that migration journey, if you will, right? Once that is established, obviously you can go and enable your AI, ML ops, as well as accelerating the business value for your organization. Let me walk you through the entire migration methodology that we have adopted across multiple engagements, and this has been fine-tuned to deliver the faster time to value, if you will. Right now, I will go step by step. First thing first, I think many of the times this legacy solutions or the ETL tools have been implemented for many years, and you don't have proper documentation, you don't have the knowledge base in house anymore, and you are really worried about, I don't know what to really migrate and what not to migrate. That's where actually the problem statement starts. And sometimes customers think, hey, it is a too much of a risk to migrate because I don't know what exists in my inventory today, right? So that's why Tredence come in and kind of review the existing landscape of the objects, its dependency, its complexity, and create a sort of a migration roadmap that gives the comfort to the stakeholders that, hey, these are the things I'm going to migrate, these are the things I'm going to retire, or these are the things I'm going to redesign. I think that's a very powerful step that needs to happen in order to successfully deliver the migration engagements, if you will. Once that roadmap is established, obviously first thing first, you need to start migrating those data sets. So how are you going to migrate? The historical data load and the incremental data load is something to be taken care, so that way you can actually start validating some of those artifacts that you are going to modernize into Snowflake and dbt, if you will. Right, so data migration, obviously you can leverage existing uh, ELT tools such as Fivetrans of the world, or few others, to land the data from different source systems into Snowflake. Right. Once the data is landed, that's when the most complex part comes into a picture. How are you going to convert those legacy jobs sitting in Informaticas of the world, or data stage of the world, or SAPs of the world into Snowflake, right? That's where Tredence has developed LLM based conversion routines, which is fully optimized and trained leveraging some of the LLM models. And we'll walk you through that in our demo, how we can enable that, right? So that is the most complex part, and our goal is, can we achieve 60, 70, 80% of efficacy through the conversion, through our accelerator. Many of the times we have seen customers adopting only the rule based or heuristic way of converting the code. What we have done is augmented that with LLM and heuristic combination to get the maximum benefit, if you will. Right, last but not least, once the things are converted, you need to make sure that your data is validated and it ties with the legacy system. Though it sounds simple, that is the most critical thing that you need to take care in any migration project, right? And we have obviously developed some of the accelerators from the data validation standpoint as well. Now, these things will iterate in your overall migration modernization journey, and these are some of the results we have achieved by leveraging some of those accelerators. So today I am going to showcase you the T converter accelerator, and obviously you can see how quickly it can help you in modernizing your journey, if you will. Let me walk you through the architecture of our T converter accelerator. As you can see on the left hand side, these are some of the legacy ETL tools we support from our side to convert that code base into Snowflake plus dbt. For example, you can have an Informatica or data stage job. Normally, you can export that existing jobs or mapping into a XML file or HTML file, and we can connect to your environment based on API, extract that metadata, and kind of run through our accelerator engine, if you will. Right, our accelerator is fine-tuned LLM model, which will obviously parse this XML files or the HTML files and give you the complexity analysis. Remember, this was the first thing I was talking about. How do we get you the complexity analysis and the object dependencies and things like that? So we will gather the complexity analysis information first, followed by kind of generating the instructions, if you will. These instructions are nothing but decoding your existing logic and putting into a simple step-by-step process. This also serves as a documentation purpose, what your existing job is doing. Second thing, you will also have an opportunity to modify this logic. Let's say if you have a legacy logic that you want to kind of rewrite or change something, you have an opportunity to modify this instruction set, and then you can convert that into a target state environment, including Snowflake and dbt, right? That's where the code generation will come into a picture. And once the code is converted, obviously you can apply some evaluation framework to see what code has been converted and what has not been, and where you have to manually touch upon, right? Now obviously you can do this integrated with Git, and that's what we are showcasing. This will also help in automated code deployment, if you will, right? So that's how our T converter solution accelerator works. Now, all of those things you can do through UI, which I'm going to walk you through in a moment. Let me walk you through a sample Informatica mapping and how we will be able to convert that through our LLM accelerator. So just to give you a little bit more perspective on what the existing logic looked like, right? So this is a medium complexity Informatica mapping where you can see it is going through, a couple of sources, applying some transformation in the middle, and finally loading a dimension table as part of this job. I will walk you through Accelerator how we will be able to decode the complexity of this mapping, and then obviously convert it into target Snowflake environment. So let me explain you a sample Informatica mapping job that I'm going to input into our LLM accelerator. And you can see, how we are able to depict the complexity analysis and obviously finally converting that into a Snowflake and dbt. So here is an example of the medium complexity Informatica mapping, where you can see you have, couple of, connections and the sources on the left hand side, and you are applying some of the transformations and ultimately loading this into a dimension table on your target landscape. So here is the Streamlit app that we kind of created for seamless user experience for data engineers or data analysts to input their existing legacy jobs and go through the complexity analysis and obviously convert that into a target state code base, if you will. As you can see, Tredence currently supports some of this legacy ETL tools as part of its conversion from legacy to your target platform of choice, whether it's a dbt, Snowflake, or any other that you are using. Tredence has fine-tuned some of these LLM models, for example, Gemini, Claude, GPT 4.0, to really improve the efficacy of this ETL code base when it gets converted into your target state. So as I was showing you earlier, the medium complexity Informatica job, let me kind of walk you through, and I will upload that into our accelerator as well. So I'm going to browse those files and pick the medium complexity XML file as an input. And as you can see that it is kind of running behind the scene and kind of trying to decode the logic, if you will. While it does that, I will quickly showcase you how the XML file look like, right? So here is some of the components that you will see in the XML structure that Informatica natively able to export from its side, right? Now, whatever LLM fine-tuned model does, it goes through this XML file and kind of decode the existing logic that you have implemented in Informatica. So going back to this, if I go back and close this one, this is kind of uploaded, and I can double click on this job. And first thing first I want to do is look at the complexity analysis. So let me click on the complexity analysis, and you will be able to see what kind of a sources and the target and the transformations that it is using, right? As we see here, right, it's a medium complexity job, and we have, different type of sources and different types of the targets and the total number of transformation. So this you will be able to quickly review for any job that you want to convert. Once you have that complexity analysis completed, you can come down and click on generate instruction. You can quickly do that. Now, obviously, it is going through the logic and kind of giving you the step-by-step approach so you can convert that code into your target state data platform. As you can see now, it has generated the instruction set for us. We can quickly look at that in the editor. So here are all the different steps that it decoded from the existing logic. Now it serves in a two perspective. One, you can kind of document this existing logic through these steps. So very, very powerful from that perspective on the, usability of what actually exists in your environment, right? At the same time, it allows you to modify this logic if you want to. So let's say if you want to make any changes to the where clause and things like that, you can certainly do that if required, right? Now, obviously, I'm going to keep this as is for now, going back to the converter, and then as we have now already generated the instruction set, we will go and try to convert this into a code. So using those instruction set, I'm going to click on generate code, and it will take probably a few seconds, but quickly it will come back. As you can see, it now came back with the converted code, and you can go through the logic to make sure that it is accurate. Obviously, you have a liberty to modify if you want to, right? Now, by default, we integrate this with GitHub, and this way you can kind of create multiple YAML files. I am going to quickly download this DBT output and show you what are the different files that we are able to generate. So here is the converted output from our LLM accelerator. As you can see, it has created a couple of YAML files, one for your sources, one for your schema, and then the converted SQL file that loads that dimension table that we have talked about. This is how you will get your code converted, and then you can integrate with any version control repository through either GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. So let me summarize what we have just seen in the demo. We have gone through the 3 steps process. First thing first, the discovery, where we have uploaded the existing legacy job, and we were able to capture the logic of the existing mapping in terms of the complexity, number of sources, targets, and transformations, if you will. Next, what we have done is we created the instruction set. This instruction set can be used for the document purpose as well. This greatly helps capturing your existing logic, if you will. At the same time, it will also allow you the ability to modify those instruction set in case if you want to change your logic in the target state environment. Last but not least, we have seen how we are able to convert those instruction set into the target state code base, and we finally shown the YAML files that can be integrated with GitLab or GitHub in DBT. So that's the quick summary of what we have seen in the accelerator. Here is how Tredence solution accelerates the migration with accuracy and lower cost. We have seen these benefits for multiple of our implementations, where we are able to improve the efficiency by 40%, overall accuracy of the code conversion by 50%, and we were also able to lower the cost by over 30% by leveraging our LLM-based and heuristic code conversion. As you can see, we have gone through some of those steps in the demo, and this greatly, deliver the faster time to value for our customers. Let me also walk you through the customer example who is one of the global travel and hospitality customer, and they were having a large footprint of Informatica, in fact IICS and SAP DS footprint, and they were modernizing that into a Snowflake and dbt. What we were able to do is kind of input all those Informatica and SAP jobs through our LLM based converter, understand the complexity of the existing landscape, and then put together the overall migration roadmap, like what components you can retire, what components you can consolidate, and what components you can redesign or just convert into the target state, right? Through this solution, we were able to achieve 50% faster solution delivery using our T converter accelerator. We were also able to reduce 90% of errors because you are not really dealing with human based, manual rewriting of the code, if you will, right? And overall, this resulted into 30% productivity gain for our customers. DBT provides a lot of those native capabilities from the collaborations and the productivity improvement perspective. And this has resulted a great success story for our customers, converting from the legacy stack into more modernized Snowflake and DBT stack. Thank you for your time. I'm going to now hand over to Ernesto to walk you through about DBT platform.
Okay, thank you, Devang. That is super cool to see. Love that. Appreciate the demo. So I want to tell you a little bit about the DBT platform. So DBT helps data teams go from raw data to reliable insights faster with tools to build robust transformations, manage production pipelines, and analyze data securely at scale. DBT brings software engineering best practices to analytics, now with AI co-pilots, intelligent observability, and conversational interfaces. DBT is supercharging every step of the data workflow. So earlier we talked about the trade-offs, speed, trust, adoption, and cost. So speed is a team sport. Speed isn't just about writing faster SQL or cranking out more transformations. It's about removing blockers across a chain so everyone from engineers to analysts can move with confidence. So DBT, you can think of it as that baton that passes context, trust, and automation down the line, accelerating the whole team. So you get shared definitions, integrated workflows, experiences for every persona, less rework, and more velocity. So if you think of tooling that's like geared for a very specific persona, you can think of like a traditional ETL tool is for a data engineer. A BI tool is only for like the analysts. The context is missing, and therefore you erode a lot of that trust and speed. The next thing is trust. So one of DBT's founding principles is that we believe that data teams should build like software teams. That's why we built features like CI/CD, version control, modular code, and tests into our initial framework. Today we call this the analytics development lifecycle. So it empowers teams to reduce rework, support collaboration across different roles and organizations within a company, and to move fast and to iterate without fear of breaking something. Effectively, trust is not an afterthought. It's engineered into every single step. So you can read more about that. You can go to adlc.com, Analytics Development Lifecycle, and there's a white paper written by Tristan Handy that can give you a little bit more. Right, so let's talk about scale. So you may be familiar with DBT as the standard for data transformations. It takes raw data and makes it ready for consumption. That's where DBT started 9 years ago. Where we are today is offering what we call a control plane, tooling that you used to have to glue together like orchestration, observability, cost management, catalog, and semantics, all integrated into a single place with metadata that is integrated deeply and drives great results, all powered by the DBT Fusion engine. So on top of that, we still do all of our processing in database and increasingly do so across warehouses and engines, and that's where our data mesh capabilities come in. And finally, to build this out completely, the personas that are enabled with the platform are not just the classical data engineers that drove transformations. There's analytics engineers, workflows and toolings for analysts, business stakeholders, and increasingly MCP capabilities for AI agents. And there's, already we've released a lot of stuff around our MCP servers and chatbots and things like that. But this is like becoming a standard player in this that will like accelerate the value of DBT. So literally everyone in the company can participate with DBT. And so finally, there's the cost part. So we don't just improve developer productivity. We don't just help you move faster. We reduce duplication and waste. We reduce confusion across the stack. And ultimately, one of the biggest costs for modern data teams is around the data platform costs. We actually drive that down considerably. We have ROI tooling and things like that that we can help you with to show how DBT can actually reduce your overall spend for your data platform. So some of the results across some of our biggest customers. So NPAL, 30 times faster delivery. Pepperstone saw an 80% decrease in inconsistent reports. Siemens is massive scale company, 300,000 employees with over 70,000 data consumers, all powered by DBT. And Roche saw a 70% cost reduction, moving from diverse tools like Informatica, Talend, Microsoft into a single globally adopted transformation framework. And that also brought along with it 70% cost reduction. So effectively, as we discussed, DBT is how you move fast with guardrails. We fit into any data stack on any cloud data platform and enhance the tools that you already use today. We are built for massive scale. And the best part is DBT, you don't need to make trade-offs between speed, quality, scale, and cost. You do it all and maintain complete control over the business logic, your pipelines, and your cloud spend. So yeah, with that, I want to thank you for joining. We'd love if you wanted to get a full DBT platform demo. We'd love if you reached out to Tredence and learned more about their migration accelerator. And of course, register for Coalesce, whether you're going live online or in person in Vegas. And we will be sending out a short survey on today's session. So thanks so much for that.